Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to share about my research. The title is A Corona Wave Game-Based Learning to Promote Health Protocol During COVID-19 Pandemic. With me, Yudhistia Ayukusumawati as first author and my partner, Yongki Angkawijaya, Donna Carolina, and also Hindam Basit Rafiki. This presentation is divided into four parts. There are research background, methods, result and discussion, and also conclusion. The number of COVID-19 positive cases in Indonesia is highest in the world. So due to the significant number of additional corona positive cases, the government is requesting that the people take a high level of individual and collective um, responsibility for adhering to health protocol. But unfortunately, some of Indonesian people still ignore the health protocol provided by the government. Badan Pusat Statistik BPS at the end of 2020 released the results of a survey on community behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic with the COVID-19 handling task force. The results of a survey of 90,967 respondents that lasts for a week, as many as 55% of respondents said that they did not comply with the health protocol because there were no punishment from the government. More than 50% of total respondents think that the absence of punishment is a reason for not complying with a health protocol. Then another reason that many people ignore health protocol is the price of personal protective equipment such as masks, hand sanitizer, which tend to be expensive. And work becomes difficult because of implementing health protocols. The next reasons officer or leader who do not set an example follow others, and there are no cases of COVID-19 sufferers in the surrounding environment, and other reasons. So this is become a serious problem if it's carried out continuously. Therefore, as an answer to these problems, efforts needs to be made to educate the Indonesian people about the importance of implementing health protocols in today's new normal life. So this research is aims to designing user interface of game-based learning Corona Wave, which can be used to educate people about health protocols and how to survive in pandemic era. So the design thinking methods was used to describe design process of this game-based learning. So the researcher create a graphical user interface or GUI game prototype Corona Wave to convince players to follow health protocols. Corona game apps provide information about how to survive in this pandemic era. So this research is very important to gain awareness of health protocol. This research is provide visual novel game Corona Wave to promote health protocol. In this graphical user interface design, color is very important. So in the design of this application is dominated by the use of bright and pastel color that prefers by the yacht people. Beside the utilizing a game as an entertainment medium, game also has the role of education and informational media through story plots with various positive message embedded in it. For the example, For the example, 2020 the game and coronavirus attack are prior example of game with corona concept theme, although both were developed only for the purpose of entertainment, with puzzle and players dexterity as the key features. But Corona Wave is unique from the predecessors, not just in terms of concept and goal, but also in terms of visualizations. In contrast to the Corona Wave game visualization, which use a digital painting, the two previous games use a simple bitmap image visualization. So there is research not only propose architecture design of game kernel wave as a medium of educational and informational through appealing graphics and user-friendly user interfaces, but also attempts to raise public awareness of the necessity of applying health protocol and leading a healthy lifestyle. On the widget icons, there are of male characters displayed with an angle of from below or frog eye. Edit a logotype of the name of this game, Corner Wave, with the yellow fire background, applying the principle of contrasting design to color theory. The first scenes in this game start at work hours. A playable character named Picho, the pointer cursor, which also functions as an active button, is designed in the shape of a hand with a white highlight as the outer glow to give the impressions of contrast and distinguish it from the background, making it easier for players to find the pointer. As soon as the player taps his finger on her cell phone or on cell phone screens, the mouse pointer on the platforms, the program will display the first narration spoken by the character Bejo himself. The scene continues by following the plot where the main character Bejo tries to invite his colleague Annie to hang out after office hour. As the main character and his sentence, interaction from the player to the system is required by moving the pointer or cursor toward the only character in the moment to invite him to interact. Along with the movement of the pointer touching on characters, information at the bottom will appear about the possibility action that can be done by moving the pointer. Any character will talk to the main character Bijo. Anne will respond to Bijo's invitation by understanding that the pandemic is not over and advising um, him to go home immediately after work hours are over because it is for his own good at this time. After refusing Bijo's invitation and suggesting to go home, immediately after working hours ended, Anna saw her concern for Bejo by advising him to be careful and stick to health protocol. Um, Through the conversation between Bejo and Annie, the 5M health protocol during the pandemic was explained. Anne reminded Bejo that wearing masks, wash your hands, keep your distance, reduce movement or mobility, and also avoid crowds. Seeing that Bejo was not wearing mask, Annie reminded Bejo and gave him a mask. This scene aims to teach and reminds player that wearing mask, in addition to protecting uh, himself, also means expecting the people around, or sorry, respecting the people around us. Receiving a mask from Annie will make the inventory window of the playable character filled with item medical mask. Under the inventory menu, a statement will appear that you have received a mask from Annie. This scene depicts Annie giving hand sanitizer to Bejo as a precaution to clean her hands, uh, his hands if he can find a place to wash his hand. After receiving a hand sanitizer from Annie, the joy inventory window will increase with the item. Annie gave a message to remind him that after all, washing hands in the sinks with a soap is still better than using sanitizer. According to the plot of the story, Bejo will leave the office and go home. So the narration delivered through Annie's speech required Bejo to wear a mask before continuing the game. The player points the pointer or cursor at the mask in the inventory window, then by left clicking, holding and dragging into a character of Bejo. So Bejo will make the main character wear a mask. On a smartphone system, the way to make Bejo wear a mask is by typing the mask. Uh, Tapping the mask image in the inventory window while holding down under the pointer, change to holding and dragging the mask on Bejo's characters. After wearing a mask, the player can continue the game. After wearing a mask, a picture profile photo at the bottom left will change um, will change to wearing a mask when the player points the pointer at the door. At the bottom of the inventory window, a description of the action opens the door will appear. By clicking on the pointer that has been positioned on the door on the PC platform, or knocking on the door image on a smartphone platform, Bejo walk and an animation of Bejo holding the door knob appears. Doorknobs are one of the things that people touch the most. These scenes reminds us of the danger of touching doorknobs, which are prone to bacteria and viruses by reducing the hit points of the jaw. At the bottom left, there is hit points for the form of body temperature, like that. If the jaw is healthy, then his body temperature is 36 degrees Celsius, accompanied by a blue indicator, which means it is safe. By using a hand sanitizer, Picho will regain his health at 36 degrees Celsius. This aims to remind the importance of being aware to always clean your hands after touching objects that are often touched by people. After using the hand sanitizer, the health bar the status will return to blue or safe, and the hand sanitizer item will disappear from uh, the inventory window. So the playable character picture indicates that he has to go down to the lobby. The only option in the rooms is use the escalator. So players can continue the plot of the game by moving the pointer to the queue in front of the escalator. When approaching the crowd, the jaw health level will decrease and his heart bar will rise to um, 36.5 Celsius and change color to yellow. So through this speech, the judge informed the players that should not approach crowds of people. This is a follow-up message about one of the health protocol to stay away from crowds. After Bejo informs him to stay away from the crowd, the player must move the pointer or cursor to another place away from the crowd. At this time, because they don't have a hand sanitizer in their inventory anymore, the player can't do anything else to restore Bejo health bar. So uh, in the next scenes, Bejo press the escalator button and wait for the escalator to come. In the story plot, it is plot story, Bejo complains that the button does not have a touchscreen sensor. So the health bar will rise to 37 degrees Celsius and change color to red, which is the last danger sign before a game over. Uh, the players directs the pointer so that Pedro can enter the escalator. So this is the end of Chapter 1, the screen goes dark, as well as a sign of the end of the first part or the chapter 1. So the conclusion is, in this paper, graphical user interface for game-based learning apps Wave is proposed to gain awareness about health protocols and how to survive during pandemic. So maybe it's difficult for designers to deliver clear user interface on a small screen without overloading. A designer must think about what elements can be used, for example, the using of font, colors, palettes, layout, illustration, and so forth. As a result, the focus of this app should be on the most crucial features that user require in order to provide service. The benefit of technology should be used in this way with the emphasis on how apps can be used to speed up the service process. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye.